Hey everybody, welcome back to the Retro Bowl Alliance League. In the Premier League, this is the marching ends. We wrapped up season 19, getting ready to go to the historical landmark, season 20 of the RBA. Really amazing. Happy to have been a part of this, along with Rams, Comets, a number of other players here that are in the Rust Belt Derby since the very, very beginning of this league. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to be a part of it. So, um, last draft before the major update that Simon has coming with all kinds of changes. My goodness, the guy really put a mountain of changes together here for us. It's going to shake things up, I think, in a lot of good ways. It's going to be fun. Replay is going to be an exciting thing, but also changing up the requirements for what we do on defense. You're no longer going to need just a single five-star player in each position. It's going to depend now across multiple players. More defense sounds like it could have an impact. So while that release of that update isn't here yet, I'm going to kind of play as if that is what we need, what's important. So let's take a quick look before we go to the draft. Gondor, he's aged enough that I'm hopeful his the good news is we're able to keep his attributes up there. He's still eating 40 million, and that's going to take him up to the age of 35. So I've got to keep him. He's just so good. He's unbelievable. I can't get rid of a guy like this, but he's eating up a lot of my cap. And so we're going to have to take a look as we look at Strider. Man, is he going to come down on price, or is he going to stay at 30 million? He's going to be coming up here in this off season, his contract. He's really Pippin took is retiring, so that 11 million is going to come back to the cap. Not a lot of wiggle room here, and I'm expecting Leaf to ask for more. Man, it's going to be tough. We're going to have to figure out what we're doing. When you take a look at this as a whole, I mean, we're not a. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There's not going to be much room in the cap space. And unfortunately, most of that's taken up by my two-star players, Faramir and Aragorn, quarterback, wide receiver there, Gondor and Strider, as you look at it. So this is going to be really interesting. This is going to be really interesting what I can do. It's going to feel limited. I'm probably going to rely on the draft, to be honest, because I don't know that I've got cap room to hop right into a high-end set of defensive players in the free agency. It might be too expensive. One thing I'm really toying with, because here we are with Proudfoot, who is a stud as far as attributes. Look at the stats. He's not achieved that 10 tackles per game. Not even close in his career, but he's got 25 sacks. What is more important? It's a tough call for me right now, because he's averaging every 4.5 games he's getting a sack, which is pretty big. I think. Was injured for 2 weeks this last season. But then you look at this free agent that I picked up. This defensive back, Leaflock, that I picked up. Averaging over 10 tackles a game. 13. Like, he carries his weight. He's only got 3 picks. He doesn't have as many impact plays. So the question is, what's more important? Now, I realize they're in different positions, but the impact plays would be sacks or interceptions. Having a hard time deciding what I'm going to do, because 20 million for a guy that's not getting 10 tackles a game and should be, I don't know. The other person that I'm going to be looking at, actually, believe it or not, Quick Beam. What am I going to do with a guy like this? Again, right at 10 tackles, only 1 impact play. Skinbark having all of the impact plays, or excuse me, all the tackles, but no impact plays. Like, what do I do here? Are these guys, are they past their prime? Did I get past my prime with these guys? He's 31, he's 30 and 31. Like, do I dump all of that cap space, 21 million, 24 million, these guys that I've really trusted, but I'm giving up too many points? I'll show you what I mean by that. So 803 for the entire season. But through the regular season, week 17, I was at 707. And I'm giving up 16, 10, only 6 or 13. I'm going backwards. Very often I'm giving up 2, 3, occasionally 4 scores in a game. Usually 3 is about as much. Man, giving up points into the 20s, just not used to that. And not getting the ball back fast, giving up long drives. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Not sure what I'm going to do. The other thing to keep in mind, front office. So I'm going to let these retire on me here, both offensive and defensive coordinators. Neither one gives me a trait. They've been inexpensive because I just renew them, for 15 every year. Not a big deal. But when I was looking here, and I don't want to hire them now, I've got talent spotter on defense and a talent spotter on defense and offense. I think I want the talent spotters. So I'm not sure that they'll be there when I start the next season, but I'm going to look to that rather than letting these be my continual offensive coordinator. So that being said, I'm so nervous. So nervous. Usually I go through my roster. I'm going to do this in exceptionally fast manner here. Take a look at the stats. If you want to pause and look at them, go for it. But I'm just going to zip through these here real quick. Love having a tight end for the fun of it. Not that productive, but it is a lot of fun. Wide receiver core is good. Again, getting something from the D lineman as far as impact plays, but linebackers, no impact plays. 1 interception from each defensive back. Man, need to be better than that, and maybe that has to do with age. So there is your team. Awesome that we won, that we survived, and we're still in the Premier League after getting into the relegation zone at a 707. That's crazy, huh? So I don't know. Nothing else to do but move on here. So here we go. Continue. We're going to reject all offers and let the season begin. There he is. I got to grab a snapshot. Thanks, man. Appreciate all you did, Pip. Averaging 11 plus tackles per game. A real stud. Coordinators, like I mentioned, are gone. As what usually happens, a little decline in about all categories. But let's take a look now. From the front office, what options do we have? We're going to need to look. Hey, look at that. He's still there. Perfect. Do I go through the draft before I get them so that I can apply their talent to... That's what I do. I have to go through the draft first. Glad I thought of that. I don't know that that's the case, but I feel like that's likely the case. Let's get these all the way up to start with. Okay. And now let's look from the front office at the free agents that we're going to have as options here. So D lineman, another stud, $19 million. Defensive backs, if we're going to be replacing, not an amazing stud, but still really good. And he's only 22. Considering Ziggy. What about from the linebacker position? Okay, so we've got some pretty good linebacker, or pretty good defensive options. And they're not overly expensive. And they'd be plug and play. So let's take a look. This is where I was telling you guys I'm a little concerned. Oh yeah, we have to go through the, get ready to go into the draft before we can see who is expiring and how much they want. Strider stays at $30 million. That's good news. Obviously taking Strider back. He's become the face of the team right behind Faramir Gondor. So we're bringing him back. And we'll do the same here. Looks like we have an increase request from Locke. Was he at 15, 13, somewhere in that vicinity? But he's been solid, no question. We've watched him grow. He had to grow into those attributes that he's got himself to. You know, he's up to level 7 and still not fully filled on his attributes. So he started off 55 games with us on only 3 picks. Man, 20 games between impact plays. I see so many guys now being shown on their, I'm going to slap that on him real quick. So many guys being shown, that are being sent to the Hall of Fame. And you've got like 20 interceptions, 15 interceptions. What am I doing wrong? Why am I not picking up the talent that can do that for me? I haven't had one of those since Mary, who had 14, I believe, and that's the most I've ever had. So, that said, I don't know what else to do but take my little piddly $6 million and see what the draft looks like. There's a linebacker that's got great potential. $10 million for Buster Hudson. $10 million for Buster Hudson. It was Drake here. So I like the 5-star potential guys myself. And he costs the same, so why not go after a guy like this if you're going to go after anybody? So I have to decide whether or not that's somebody worth going after. Let's see what the second round offers. Maybe we got a bunch of linebackers here and then a D-line way late. So nobody here really worth going after. Half tempted to see what a late running back looks like, if there'd be a steal of a deal. $4 million. That guy's got all kinds of potential, but I'll never get him there. I don't use him enough. Take a look. Logan's continuing to require $14 million as a tight end, and I'm having a lot of fun using him. But I mean, look here, 57 games played, 23 touchdowns. He gets maybe 2 receptions a game on average. How much more important is a defensive player? How much more important? That's the question. How much more important is a defensive player right now? So I've got 2 linebackers, so it's silly to look at those linebackers. Talking out loud here. I don't like my draft. That's all there is to it. I don't like my draft. Let's take a look at the quarterback just to see. Massive potential. I'd rather stamina all the way up, but honestly, this Rashard Thalen, he'd be a consideration, but not as a replacement, but as a second string to learn behind. Faramir, looks like I'm going to take a bunch of credits. I don't see anything here. I didn't look at, oh, here we go. I didn't look at the wide receivers on the second page. Nope. 2 really good players there. 2 really good options. I'm not going to give up what I've got to pick them up, though. Okay. Take the credits, yes. Like I said, I'll consider a running back for fun, maybe a kicker. Why would I do a kicker? Actually, that's a Comets move, isn't it? Maybe I should take 2 kickers. I could take this guy, Darren Stills, Suggs. Suggs has some good range. I can save him till the 3rd round if I want. Okay. D lineman, nope. Definitely no. He's almost there, but has no speed. No, we're not going to get anything in the 2nd round. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Getting some credits out of the deal. Looking at this Spate running back, and who was it? Lamb. Like, I could take this guy, but I'll use him twice a year, 4 times a year, 10 times a year. Oh, Conley, I didn't see this guy. Well, he requires $7 million, so I can't get him anyway. So maybe as a place filler, do I take Lamb? No, and I'll tell you why. Yes, I will actually, and I'll tell you why. So the objective I'm going to have this year, no longer competitive in the Premier League, and I credit that to not having a good enough defense to get me the ball back, and my division has turned into a very talented division. Look at this. Aloof Balloon, 5-star offense. Red Comets, 5-star offense. Chicago Rams, 3-star offense. Like, I am in the elite league here in the NFC East. Like, it's not even close to the other leagues. I take that back. The AFC East is also really stacked. So I'm in the second hardest division right now. And I'm not going to be competitive. I'm no longer competitive for point differential in the Premier League. Like, I'm going to suck bottom for a good season or two. Schedule is really tough for me right now. Real tough for me right now. So what I'm going to do for myself for this season, sorry I'm coming up on 16 minutes of just chatter here, and it's not really very productive after taking a silly running back. I need to rename Logan. I wish I would have thought of that. Hold on. I'm going to come back and rename Logan. All right, I'm going to do a throwback name. This goes back 19 seasons, 17 seasons, something like that. We're going to go with Gimli, who's the elf from the Lord of the Rings. And he's going to be the Ball. Gimli the Ball. And I don't think I've got enough because he's the second. So what if I do Gimli? Can I do an apostrophe? The Ball 2? It didn't hold it, did it? He's just going to be Ball. Gimli Ball 2nd. Let's make those caps. Gimli Ball 2nd. I like it. So there's my attachment. And the reason I did that just now is because he's the most used tight end I've really ever had. He holds the records in my books, for a tight end, for a marching end. Not like he's got amazing stats, but I've gone to him more than I've gone to any other tight end. And it's been fun. And I know I'm not going to be competitive on the Premier League front. I'm just hanging on, trying to keep from getting to the Champions League, which if I get there, oh well, that'll be fun to go down there too. But haven't been out of the Premier League since we started this thing, since the RBA started up. But I'm going to try something this year, and I don't expect to succeed, but I'm going to make a singular effort to make this Season 20 Faramir's premier season as a quarterback on this team. What I mean by that is he's got a 94% accuracy. I mean, he's very, very talented. He's thrown more interceptions, and those came early on when there were some different updates coming up in the league, and so we were trying different things, so I was being a lot more aggressive early on in his career. He's now throwing maybe a pick or two per season over the last 4 or 5 seasons, so he's really reverted back to being a cautious passer. I am going to see how close I can get to a perfect season with a quarterback, meaning no interceptions, if at all possible, and even more difficult, 100% completion ratio. Now, Rams, I know you had one where you actually had 2 incompletions, so I don't expect that I'm going to succeed at this, but if I'm not going to win the Premier League championship, and I'm not going to be vying for the top because I'm in such a tough league, and I'm just not, defense isn't going to hold my opponents to few enough points to be competitive in the point differential, I'm going to see what I can do with Faramir in one given season when I have a sole focus. So this is going to be called The Season of Accuracy by Faramir. So here we go. We're going to try it out. But there's your team. That is your marching ends team. We've got a running back who, whatever, it is what it is. Now that I've got everybody in here, it would make sense for me to spend a brief moment going to the front office, taking a look at, the staff hires. We definitely want Davis. We're going to do the talent spotter here. We're going to hire him. Give us 5 stars of offense, help us out in that area. And then on defensive side, man, why do I keep doing that? Staff hires. Was it Poyer? Was also a talent spotter. Gonna do the same thing down here. What were the other ones? Positive, 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 talent spotter. I want the talent spot. So here we go. We're gonna hire these 2 guys. Excellent. So that is sweet. That is your marching Ents team for the season 2020, calling it the Season of Accuracy by Gondor. So looking forward to seeing what we can do. Again, it's a lofty, lofty goal. I honestly don't expect to achieve 100%, but being that that's going to be my primary, almost total focus, see where we go. See where we go with it. See how close we can get. That is going to be it from here. You can see it's going to be an absolute challenge. With this division. 3 5-star offenses. Wow. That's going to make for a very difficult schedule. So that's it from here. Marching Ents. We're going to keep on marching, trying to be perfect in the passing game. You keep on marching. Till then, peace.